Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing. So volatility has come back to the stock market finally, especially on the US side, the US stock market. And don't even get me started on Bitcoin and crypto. There's a lot of volatility and downside going on there, right? So people are panicking. You have that classic CNN fear and greed gauge. So right now it's been on extreme fear for quite a while, but I'm just going to give you some reminders on why this is a fantastic time for long-term buy and hold investors. These are the points that I would really have benefited from personally. For example, when I first started, or not when I first started, when I went all in on the stock market near the end of 2019. That's when I went all in. Of course, I was investing a couple of years before that, but I basically invested right before the COVID crash, and these are the points that I think I would have benefited from. So let me go through the important things to keep in mind, because volatility is off the charts now and it could probably continue for who knows how long, right? So it really depends on how you see it. Like the thumbnail, when I see extreme fear, I always am happy because I see extreme opportunity. So it's really the way you see that that fear and greed index, right? I see extreme opportunity, a lot of opportunity, some opportunity, maybe a little bit of opportunity, maybe a tiny little bit of opportunity. The point is, it's always an opportunity to buy more if you're a long-term buy and hold investor. So point number one, I'm going to go through about 8 points here to remember, which I think are important. Point number one, this is the best time. These are the best moments to be a long-term buy and hold investor. I don't care if you're an income investor, covered call investor, ETF investor like myself, or a growth investor. This is the best time if you are a long-term buy and hold investor, because now is a great time to buy more cheaper units, of course, right? Logically speaking. And another thing is that we are not selling our shares. We are not selling our units till a long time in the future, if not at all, especially as an income investor where you're getting those consistent distributions. You don't actually have to sell anything ever. So this is actually the best and most exciting time to be a long-term buy and hold investor. Remember in 2022, guys, 2022 was a pretty bad year. Don't you miss 2022 and getting those shares cheaper? So the key remains the same. You buy as much as you can consistently over time. Point number two, investors have a huge advantage over traders, over short-term traders. It's our time horizon. So traders, and by the way, it's the short-term traders, all these people selling a lot more than buying, that are making the prices go down and the volatility happen. So if you're not a trader, if you're a long-term buy and hold investor, you shouldn't be acting like a trader, which right now would mean you're panicking, you're selling, you're scrambling. For us, it's just a Boxing Day sale. Christmas has come early. It's just a buying opportunity. And if you're an income investor like myself, we're just going to accelerate. An income investor like myself who consistently buys every single month, we're just going to accelerate our income now because prices are cheaper. When prices are cheaper, yields are higher, right? So point number three, income investors specifically actually have a big advantage over growth investors. We never have to sell. We get our distributions monthly. We do whatever we want with them. They are coming out of the net asset value of the fund. So for example, if you're a retiree and you're in your drawdown phase, just getting those distributions is kind of like automatically drawing down your investments. Unlike a growth investor that invests in index funds, for example, they actually have to go in and manually sell shares. And if the share prices are down, obviously you don't want to do that. So a nice little benefit or bonus as an income investor. Point number four, and this is very important. I wish somebody would have told me this a while ago, because I did waste a lot of time trying to figure out the why, right? Why is this happening? Why is Bitcoin crashing so suddenly, and why is the tech stocks crashing? Is it because of this AI bubble? Is it because the Fed said, well, maybe we're not going to cut anymore. We'll see. We're a bit hesitant to cut. Is it because of this? Is it because of that? Is it because of this? You're just going to get completely inundated when you look online and listen to the so-called experts trying to explain why this is happening. Take it from an experienced investor, long-term buy and hold investor. The why does not matter. It's a complete waste of time. Nobody knows why. They could only guess. And in the future, once this volatility is over and we're back in a bull market, guess what? Nobody's really going to have the answer anyway. The important thing is really to focus on the what. What are you doing? What are you going to do about it? Not the why. The why doesn't matter. Next point, buy and hold income investors. Now we'll get maybe into some more specifics. Will simply accelerate their income. If you're a buy and hold income investor like myself, and of course, I'm not talking about, sometimes I do little trims and little sells and consolidations here and there. But what I mean by buy and hold is you're not buying low to sell high or to churn a profit after 3-4 months, right? You're establishing your positions, your percentages, your convictions, and you're staying in for the long term. Remember 2022? 2022 was a pretty crappy year where the markets went down, didn't do anything. And if you just kept buying throughout the whole year, well, it's a huge advantage because you're buying cheaper, like I said, right? Remember my Q&A, my interview with the godfather of income investing, Steve Bavaria, what he said in that Q&A? He said 2022, I've accelerated my income growth, right? I've accelerated my passive income because you're buying cheaper. The yields are higher, you're buying cheaper, right? So you're accelerating your income. So I'm accelerating my income right now because I'm going to continue to buy every single month. And when you buy cheaper, again, you're accelerating your income. Next point is, remember, paper losses are not real losses. They call them paper losses for a reason. They call them unrealized, not real, unreal losses for a reason. Regardless of any nincompoop on Blossom that says otherwise, paper losses are not real losses. They're only real losses when and if you sell at a loss. So keep that in mind. Very, very important. The only damage it's going to do to you is in the fake worlds, is the unrealized world. It's only emotional damage. So second last point, this is what I'm doing. This is maybe a suggestion. Hold firm, establish your convictions. Make sure you're establishing your convictions. Stick to them. They should be based on your personal goals, on where you're at in life, your age, if you're retirement, if you're not retired, if you're trying to grow your wealth and income over time, right? So stick to your convictions, stick to the plan. That's certainly what I'm doing. I could talk all I want, but I'm always going to put my money where my mouth is, everyone. I'm going to stick to my convictions, right? MSTE, for example, yes, it's cratering, but I still have long-term conviction in it for the long term, right? You could see now how the market cap of MSTR is worth less than the value of the Bitcoin that they hold. So to me, this is a prime buying opportunity. My conviction in Bitcoin or MSTE has not changed. For example, in the overall US stock market, in the NASDAQ, in the S&P has not changed. So stick to those convictions and establish the percentages that you're comfortable with, right? If you're not comfortable, for example, my MSTE position makes up about 10% of my portfolio. Some people think that's maybe crazy. Some people have much higher, right? So it really depends on your personal conviction, volatility, your tolerance for volatility and risk. But stick to your convictions. Maybe your convictions will change over time and you could adjust your portfolio accordingly, but stick to the plan, right? Stick to your convictions. And covered call or not, right? Covered call ETF or not, remember what you are investing in and what you are holding. Okay, that is your risk. When you're investing in, for example, a QQCL, your risk is essentially the NASDAQ 100 because QQCL owns or holds the NASDAQ 100, right? USCL is the S&P 500. HYLD, etc. HHIS, those 19 stocks. Biggie is those 10 stocks. MSTE is one stock. MSTR, right? So, I mean, I've heard, for example, from Harvest that they're getting a lot of phone calls regarding MSTE, asking them what are they doing about it. Guys, what does Harvest have to do with the underlying ETF, the underlying stock rather, in MSTE? MSTE just follows MSTR. The Circle one will just follow Circle. The SoFi one will just follow SoFi, etc. HHIS is going to be an average of those 19 stocks approximately, right? So Harvest is not going to change their strategy. MSTE, the strategy is always going to remain the same. And of course, if MSTR goes down, MSTE goes down. It just follows the asset underneath. So whether you have it in an ETF format, a covered call format, a leverage format, a non-leverage format, whatever it is, your ETFs, whether it's covered call or not, leverage or not, are always going to follow the underlying ETF. Your fate is always tied to that underlying ETF. This is why I always say it's important not to invest in something just because it has an extremely high yield. You have to invest in it because you like the underlying stock. You believe in MSTR. If you believe in MSTR, that means you believe in not only Bitcoin, but also the strategy of what MSTR is doing, right? Some people are just investing in things because they have a high yield and they don't know what they're investing in. Very important to remember, you're investing in the underlying security. So I'm very excited because I'm just going to keep buying. I'm going to stick to the plan. My convictions have not changed at all, everyone. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. For MST, for example, I could have made another video on MST, but I think Gary Gill's got you covered for those, right? He's definitely taking advantage of the situation for sure, but that's okay. He's a YouTuber now, and that's what we do. I mean, that's just the business we're in. But I figure I give you some more general pieces of advice, for example, that I would have loved to have maybe right before the COVID crash, right? So stick to the plan, guys. This is the time where buy and hold income investing shines the most. This is the most advantageous time because we're just going to accelerate our income growth, right? If we keep investing a little bit every single month over time. So my MSTE, for example, conviction has not changed. I'm going to buy 2,500 approximately every single month on that. I'm going to give you an update every single week on that so you could follow my journey. That's going to be for members only. And I'm still going to keep posting my monthly portfolio update near the end of the month for everyone. So don't worry, you'll keep getting an update on my portfolio. I'm starting to get comments. Well, are you only going to do it for members now? I'm only going to do it for members for the initial unveil when I reinvest my distributions, typically near the beginning and middle of the month. So members will get the live right away updates, the updates live, and the MST weekly updates live whenever I do something because it's part of the membership. But I will continue to always disclose and show everyone, members and non-members alike, near the end of every single month, my entire portfolio, what I bought, if I sold anything, etc., etc. So if this is your first time, everyone, with volatility, with downsides, I know it could be scary because it's very sharp. It could be very sharp, but think of a roller coaster, right? Just think of going up and then when you're going down, roller coaster ride, the first time you ride, it could be very, very scary. But like Dave Ramsey says, I love this expression, nobody gets hurt if you just stay on the ride, right? So enjoy it because the next one is going to be much, much more boring. And get ready because it's possible that it's going to accelerate. It's possible that it only just begun. And remember, the why doesn't matter how long it's going to last. The longer, the better, because we'll just keep buying more cheap shares every single month. So give me a thumbs up. I hope like the video. I hope this video was calmed you down a little bit, was informative for you. Let me know your thoughts. Take care, everyone, and see you next time. Remember, stay safe, stay passive, stay honorable. Take care.